And now with today's play-by-play, here is Jared Wright.
Thank you, Handsome Dan, as we welcome you inside James L. Robb Gymnasium. Jared Wright once again bringing you some Appalachian Athletic Conference basketball here in the Battle of Highway 30, you could call it, as it is Tennessee Wesleyan hosting Bryan College, and the Lions making that trip over Highway 30. A lot of Lions faithful in red and white and black coming in to James L. Robb. And, of course, students are finally back here at Tennessee Wesleyan, which makes it even better home crowd for the Lady Bulldogs as we get set for another matchup in this long history and rivalry game inside the Appalachian Athletic Conference. Both of these coaches for these teams are in their first years at their new helms, but a lot of familiarity. For Bryan, it is Matt Ballant, who had been at Bryan a number of years ago, had great success there in the early 2000s. And, of course, he is assisted by Reagan Ballant, and both of them back in their first year there at Bryan College. But on the other side, it's Jason Smith in his first year at Tennessee Wesleyan, who spent a number of years also at Bryan at the helm of the Lady Lions program. And part of what he talked to us last week about is the 80-win streak in the conference that they put together during his time there at Bryan, something that he would love to duplicate here, but he also knows that it is kind of catching lightning in a bottle if they could do that once again in the future. It is Tennessee Wesleyan coming already to their bench already, and no matter how many years it's been, you see the orange shooting shirts here. If you've been here on Wednesdays, the Lady Bulldogs featuring their orange shooting shirts for Neelan Strong. I'd like to say I've got the orange on as well. And several other fans have the orange on to represent Neelan Strong and Neelan Pickle and what he meant to this campus and this community. So always great to see that and fun to see it on game days here at Tennessee Wesleyan. Wesleyan comes in 7-6 overall. Bryan 8-9. Bryan was a preseason fourth in the conference standings. Of course, some of that due to their long storied tradition over the last several years, last decade roughly. Currently, though, find themselves in ninth place. Tennessee Wesleyan was preseason sixth. Currently find themselves in a tie for seventh place. So currently setting much better than their opponent here tonight, but we will see. It is the Lady Bulldogs that did drop the game at Bryan earlier this season. That put them at 14 straight losses against the Lady Lions. You have to go all the way back to the 2016-2017 season when the Lady Bulldogs won here at home, and that was a regular season sweep that Bryan took the conference tournament game up in Kingsport later than that. And then the Lady Bulldogs did rattle off a November of 2017 win on the road at Bryan, but since then it has been all Lady Lions. Most of those 14 wins coming when they were ranked inside the top 25 of the NAIA standings. However, Tennessee Wesleyan has gotten it much closer down the stretch. We'll see if they can do that here tonight as well, losing by 6 on the road earlier, 60-54. We'll see if they can flip the standings in that and get this going. Right now we're going to take a 90-second break and then be back with the starting lineups. Back in 90 seconds. Back here at James L. Robb Gymnasium as he gets set for Bryan versus Tennessee Wesleyan, Lions versus Lady Bulldogs. Matt Blunt starters, let's look at them for you. They will include number 1, Leah Stennett, a 5'8" freshman, averages 6.4 a game from Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Number 5, Autumn Davis, a 5'4" sophomore, averages 9.4 points per game from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Number 10 is Tori Brooks, one of only 2 seniors on this ball club, 5'8" senior. She's averaged just under 13 points a game, along with 4 rebounds from Baxter, Tennessee. She is a conference player to watch in the preseason. They will start 25, Kelsey Johnson, 5'6" freshman from Chattanooga, Tennessee. And then 21, Ashlyn Crittenden, a 5'9" junior from Bradley Central, and transferring from Carson Newman University. She averages 9.7 points per game. As you can hear, the public address announcer getting the Lady Bulldogs going here for Jason Smith, assisted by Jaron Tall. It'll be number 1, Anna Crowder, the 5'9" senior forward, 12.8 points per game for the Decatur, Tennessee native, along with 8.8 rebounds per game. Number 4, Jacelyn Stone, the 5'5" senior guard, 15.2 points per game, along with 4.4 rebounds for the point guard from Decatur as well. Both of those Lady Bulldogs being players to watch in the preseason. And then number 10, J.C. Powell, the 5'8" senior guard, 9.4 points per game from Decatur, Tennessee. Number 25, Ella Crowder, 5'9" senior forward, also from Decatur, Tennessee. And then number 23, the freshman from Walker Valley, Tennessee, number 23, Jalea Lindsay, 5'9" freshman forward, 12.4 points per game, so the third leading scorer for the Lady Bulldogs. These two teams, it is Bryan that scores 64.9, so 65 points per game, and they also give up 65 points per game. So they are dead even in terms of their margin of victory on the season at 0. Lady Bulldogs average 65.7, so right there in that average of what Bryan allows, and giving up 61 points per game. Both teams shoot in the high 30s from the field. Wesleyan a notch better at 30% from behind the arc, and it will be Bryan ball to start this one. They're working from our right to our left here. Court side at Dwayne Farmer Court. All black uniforms, red numerals trimmed in a faint white line. And it's going to be the Lady Lions that'll take a 3 first at the top of the key. It's going to be short. Ball tipped out of bounds there by Bryan. And so Tennessee Wesleyan, those home white uniforms, blue numerals. We'll see some token backcourt pressure from Bryan. But nonetheless, it's going to be Crowder that brings it up the time stripe. She gets it to her sister, Ella Crowder. Stone puts it on the floor, lost the handle trying to pass it, recovers it. Now it's Lindsay into the paint. Drive and dish out to Powell. Powell's jumper looked good the whole way, just couldn't get it to fall. Just carry him right off the center of the rim. Now in transition, it's going to be Crittenden takes a 3-pointer. Missed it on the far side. This one tipped out again off of Bryan. So Lady Bulldogs benefiting from a couple of missed offensive rebounds from Bryan here early. Stone guarded tightly there by Davis. Now a lob down to Anna Crowder. They're going to turn it over underneath, and so almost a minute gone and still looking for our first score in this one. Bryan's going to try to do the work first. Again, the Highway 30 battle between these two longtime AAC members. Stennett out front. They work it around to Crittenden. Now the far side. They work it into the hands of Johnson. Now Brooks, she'll drop it off. Brooks hands it to Stennett. Stennett goes left side, kicks out. 3-pointer on the way from Crittenden. No good on the 3. So Bryan taking early long-range shots against this defense of Tennessee Wesleyan. Still nothing. Minute and a half played. Powell with it up top for Wesleyan. Backdoor feed down to Ella Crowder. It's poked away at the last second by Crittenden. Here comes Davis. She'll drive into the paint and then circles out to the left wing. Now Crittenden down low trying to buy a basket and a foul, but just flips it up. Crowder helps her to her feet. And the Lady Bulldogs will have the possession once again. Both coaches on their feet. Here's Crowder, goes to the top of the key, picks up the dribble, looking for some help. Skip pass, it goes to Powell, right wing. Powell brings it back out front. It's going to be Stone, long bounce pass to the elbow to Crowder. Ella looking, sends it out to Stone, 8 to shoot. Stone trying to drive and kick to Powell. Now Powell extra pass to Lindsay, 3 to shoot. Lindsay got to force something up, can't do it. Shot clock violation is going to be the signal against Tennessee Wesleyan. So a minute 15 gone, and we're still scoreless here. It'll be Bryan bringing it up. Davis going to have control of the point. Brings it near side, guarded by Lindsay. Now out front, Crittenden left wide open. Crowder going to make her drive. She comes to the left block, spins around, looks for help out front. They get it out to Johnson. Now the lob down low to Johnson on the give and go, and Bryan's on the board first. It's 2-0 Lady Lions in front. We mentioned the game earlier this season over at Dayton. It was a 6-point loss by the Lady Bulldogs, 54-60. So trying to avenge that. It's a fairly close one in terms of the most recent games against Bryan. Lindsay takes a deep three for Wesleyan off to the right side. Rebound picked up here by Johnson. And she'll clear it out for Bryan. Inside, Stennett finds Crittenden, steps inside the arc, airballs a long jumper. Hand it off to Crowder. Anna Crowder bringing it across the line. Left side, three-pointer up for Powell, just too strong over the back. Ball poked away. It's going to be Crittenden with it. Crittenden's had some influence on the ball every trip down. Another three-pointer launch by Bryan. They still have yet to hit one, thankfully. 0 for 4 now. Here's Powell, right wing. Sends it to the top of the key to Stone. Stone thought about a pass inside. Now waiting on a screen from Ella Crowder. Bounces it over to Lindsay on the left. Lindsay looking for the screen. Now Crowder rolls off of it. Blocked inside here by Stennett, and Stennett comes away with the ball. Stennett going to push the pace. Coach Smith already going to the reserves here as we are approaching midway through, and it's all Bryan, and it's Davis with another bucket for herself. Lady Bulldogs have it up front. Here's Anna Crowder. Thought about the three. Bryan closed out quickly, though. Stone into the paint, kicks it over to Powell. 10 seconds to shoot, and she just loses the handle on the dribble inside. Bryan, 3-on-2 break, and then a travel called here on Brooks. She was trying to get her feet set, and the Upperman graduate will turn it over. Wesleyan will get number 22, Sierra Bates, into the game, the 6-foot senior forward from Kodak, Tennessee. She'll replace Ella Crowder. Anna Crowder and Stone in the backcourt with it. Lob to the high post to Bates. Bates spins towards the basket. Now passes it off to Stone. A little head fake. Goes behind the back. Gets to the left side and gets fouled hard on the layup. This one's going to be on 15. Ayana Kennard, who had checked into the ball game, the sophomore from Nashville, Tennessee, picks up her first, team first. And so Stone will step to the line. 73% shooter on the season. Makes the first one. 5:10 to play, and it's only 4-1. Bryan in front. Barr coming back to the score, or coming to the scorer's table for Tennessee Wesleyan. Stone rattles both of them home. Cuts the deficit to 2. Barr's going to replace Powell. Abby Barr, number 3, another senior guard here for Tennessee Wesleyan. Davis comes left side. Left side to Connor. Looks like Bryan about turned it over on the sideline. Brooks able to tiptoe the line. Now it's Sydney Neal with it on the right wing. Here's Stennett with it. Crossover, goes into the paint and drives and converts another lay-in. Bryan back to a 4-point advantage with 4:45 to play in the first quarter. Barr with it, left perimeter. Sends it over to Stone. Stone near side. Looking to bounce it to Bates. Bates goes to get it. Now to Barr. Wide open Barr for 3 to the left side. Bounces up and over off the support and in. But because of the hanging goals here at James L. Robb, that one falls null and void. Fans were excited about the ricochet shot, but wipes 3 off the board. Again, 6-2, Bryan in front. Took almost 3 minutes before we saw a point scored. Down low as Crowder hit the deck trying to take a charge. No call on the foul either way. And so Bryan converts the lay-in with Geinard. It's Barr with it, cross half court, bounces it right side to Bates. Bates away from the basket, gets it to Stone. Stone free, a little ball fake, floater in the lane, no good. Wesleyan still has yet to buy a field goal. Here's Davis, left block, layup strong, and it's good, and it's all Bryan right now, up 10-2. 3:35 to play, first quarter. Now Lindsey lost the handle out of bounds off of Bryan, they will say. So Tennessee Wesleyan will have it underneath. Another part of this rivalry is both cheer squads here in James L. Robb. Bryan, short 30-minute drive over, brought their cheer team. Wesley the Bulldog here for the Tennessee Wesleyan sideline. It's going to be Crowder up top with it. Goes left side, Stone with it. 15 to shoot, plenty of time on the shot clock. Lob down to Bates. It's tipped out of bounds off of Bryan. Wesleyan on some pick and rolls here, trying to get the roll person open for a shot, but unsuccessful so far to complete several of those passes. Quick inbounds. Crowder pulls the 15-footer and misses everything. So Wesleyan still cannot find a shot from the field. It's only been Stone's 2 free throws made for the Lady Bulldogs. 0 of 7 currently. Here's a deflected pass. Bates picks up the loose ball, hands it to Crowder. Crowder eyes up, looking with under 3 to go in the first. Trailing by 8. Here's Stone trying to drive in, gets the foul on the floor, they will say, though. This one is going to be on 12, Sydney Neal. Her first, team second of the first quarter. Tennessee Wesleyan's going to get another Decatur native. Number 15, Julia Howard, into the ball game, 5'9" freshman. She'll get the lob on the perimeter from the inbound underneath. Pick and roll for her. Quick touch pass out to Barr for 3. Still Wesleyan null in the field goal column. Now a little frustration as Lindsey's going to pick up the foul in transition. Her first, team first. Again, Wesleyan 0 for 8 from the field. 0 for 4 behind the arc. Bryan, not much better, but 5 of 11 is 45%, well above their average of 38.5. Brooks, deep 3, missed it. Nobody boxed out Neal, and Neal gets the rebound and the score. And Coach Jason Smith has seen enough. With 2:20 left and his team down by 10, he'll take the timeout, and we'll take it with him here on WJSQ. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Back in 30. WJSQ, WLAR, Athens, Tennessee. Jared Wright bringing you this Appalachian Athletic Conference basketball game once again. Doubleheader. We got the guys game coming up after this one, scheduled to tip off at 7:30. We'll see how true that one stays to schedule. Right now, it's all Bryan in the ladies matchup, up 12-2, 10-point lead late in the first quarter. Inbounds comes to Crowder in the corner. It's going to be Howard gets stuck in the far corner. Up top it comes to Howard. To Crowder, now Barr. Stone trying to knock down the first 3, and there it is. The first field goal, and it's from behind the arc. Jacelyn Stone knocks it down. Maybe the lid's off the basket here for Tennessee Wesleyan. It's going to be Bryan trying to lob it down low to Johnson. Far block, backing down Stone. Stone right there with her. Got a piece of the block, and Howard clears up the loose ball here for Wesleyan. Quick outlet up to Lindsey, and it sails behind her head. Anna Crowder had the right idea, just couldn't connect on it. And Lindsey's going to take a seat as Powell will return for Tennessee Wesleyan. Bryan is going to get another player into the ball game, and that's going to be 00 Nevaeh Majors, senior from Mount Juliet, Tennessee. Left side, it's Brooks. Top of the key goes to Johnson. Wesleyan man-to-man defense. Majors right wing, drops it back off to Brooks between the circles. Brooks going to the right, bounces it outside, gives it to Neal. Neal looking for some help. Johnson with it, ball above the head, looking to pass it inside. Wesleyan, good off-ball defenders, making it hard. Shot clock winding down, and Majors able to just will one in with a little over-the-shoulder throw at the goal as the shot clock was down to 1. Now Stone underneath got completely free for the layup, and Jacelyn Stone's got the last 5 points, or really all 7 points for Tennessee Wesleyan. Bryan with it on the other end. Takes it down low, ball turned over right into the hands of Howard. Howard up to Barr. Barr left side of the floor. Pulls it back. There's about a half a second differential in game and shot clock. Wesleyan could hold it late on this clock for the first quarter. Stone looks back, 13 now to shoot. Pass deflected by Bryan. It rolls out of bounds. Actually, there's a 2-second differential now that both clocks stopped. 12.3 on the game clock. Wesleyan's going to get another sub. Alexis Bates, number 12, the 5'6" senior guard, will check in for Stone. Bryan will also get a couple of subs. Kennard into the game, and it's going to be Bates that gets it up top, sends it over to Powell. Barr trying to set a screen. Anna Crowder with 5 to shoot. From the right wing, pulls up, and an offensive foul called here on Howard. Julia Howard going to pick up the foul as she was trying to move down the lane as Crowder trying to give Anna Crowder some room and just runs over her defender, and that's an easy call. 2 fouls apiece. Ball rolling. Powell smartly comes up, Majors pick it up. Last second shot, Majors just over the head throw will end the quarter without any more damage done. It's 14-7. Bryan in front of Tennessee Wesleyan. We'll be back for the second quarter in 60 seconds. WJSQ, WLAR, Athens, Tennessee, back here at James L. Robb Gymnasium. Jared Wright bringing you this Appalachian Athletic Conference rivalry game. Bryan, 14 straight on the women's side against Tennessee Wesleyan. Lady Bulldogs trying to battle back in this one after losing the matchup over in Dayton earlier this season. Find themselves trailing 25-20 late here in the first half. Jumper in the lane is good for Kynard. 1:45 to play, and it's a 7-point advantage. Wesleyan. Middle of the floor to Lindsay from Stone. Lindsay works it to the right perimeter. They move it around the horn. Far corner, it's going to be McCullough with it. McCullough, they want to get it down to far. It's going to be Stone, top of the key though, and 3-ball goes for Jacelyn Stone. 4-point game with 1:20 to play. It's going to be Davis out front. Davis goes left side of the paint. Kicks it out. Johnson for an open three. This one bounces up, no good. Lindsay underneath the board collects it for Tennessee Wesleyan. 1:03 to play. Second quarter, Wesleyan can cut it to a one-possession game. It's 4. Stone with it. Majors is all over. And now the foul underneath. Let's see if it's Majors or Stinnett, and it's going to be on Bryan's Leah Stinnett, her first. Third on Bryan as a team. Now Brooks returns. Majors will take a seat. Non-shooting foul, so Wesleyan will have to inbound it. Stone with the ball, flips it out to far, and it's deflected by Stinnett, who didn't even know the ball was coming. Now quickly the pass up to Brooks. Brooks in the paint, she'll throw it away, and Wesleyan, benefactor of another turnover there with 47.3 remaining. Wesleyan and Bryan exchanging turnovers right there. Crowder gets it. Wesleyan having trouble watching the ball a little bit there. Stone and Crowder are not communicating clearly. Here's Stone into the paint though. Way up on the right side is blocked, and a foul called here on Johnson. First on her, fourth on Bryan. It'll be Olivia Hall set to check back in for the Lions. Stone at the line, 27-23. Bryan in front. Stone collects the first one. 36.6 remaining. And Stone converts it just as expected. 2-point game, 27-25. It's going to be Davis across. There's about a 6 differential in game and shot clock. So Bryan going to hold it as long as they can. Davis guarded by Lindsay, but at least a good 6 feet between them. Now they switch off. It's Crowder guarding Davis. Davis passes it. It falls off her teammate's foot. Now Stone gets fouled by Hall in frustration. And that's the 15th foul. So Wesleyan Stone's going to go back to the line to try to tie this one up with 10.4 remaining. A little frustration by Olivia Hall there. Well, the officials were talking to Crowder and Lindsay in the backcourt, but don't know that they were Crowder and Lindsay trying to see what was going on there. Stone doesn't get the first one to fall. 10.4 remaining, could get it to within 1, 27-25. Bryan in front, have led from the get-go. Stone's second free throw is good. 26-27. Bryan going to push the pace here. Davis now drives into the paint, kicks near corner. Hall has a 3, fires it up, it rattles in and out. Putback no good, but the foul on the putback is going to be against Jordan McCullough, her second, and it's going to give Kennard is going to step to the line, 79% shooter, the Nashville, Tennessee native. Misses the first one. 0.9 remaining. The miss here, Wesleyan will just have to heave it full court. But free throw is converted, 2-point game. And Wesleyan just going to get it inbounds. Let the halftime clock sound, and Wesleyan been down by as many as 10 here early in the first two quarters, but have battled back, gotten it down to 1 just a few seconds ago, but trail at 28-26 here at halftime against Bryan, trying to end a 14-game losing streak to the Lady Lions of Bryan College. Let's go ahead, let's take a 3-minute break, and then we'll bring you some first half stats and chat with one of our Bulldogs. Back in 3 minutes here at James L. Robb. Back here at James L. Robb Gymnasium, where the Lady Bulldogs find themselves down 28-26 here at halftime against Bryan. And of course, this has been a long-standing rivalry in the conference, and unfortunately, it's been lopsided for the Lady Bulldogs. The last 14 matchups have gone to the Lady Lions, but nonetheless, we're going to have the guys game coming up after this one here tonight, and that has at least been more favorable for the men in blue and white under the Bulldog moniker. They, in the last 43-odd games, 42-odd games, they hold the advantage 26 or 50-something games there, 26-16. But they are on a 4-game losing streak against Bryan. But nonetheless, they will try to avenge an earlier season loss on the road by 10, 84-74. And we are pleased to be joined by one of those Bulldog players. And I have to look because you switched jersey numbers from last year. And you can talk about that, but we're pleased to be joined by senior guard number 11 this year, Amari Young, who hails from Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. So, Amari, we were just talking during the commercial break. I don't remember if we talked last year. All the interviews start running together. But let's tell everyone at home listening about your path to get to Tennessee Wesleyan, obviously from Lawrenceburg to Athens, kind of what that path was like for you.
I started off, actually, I played at Bryan College my first year coming out of high school. And then I ended up going JUCO after my COVID year. And then I ended up here at Tennessee Wesleyan. So, and the rest has been history.
Well, that adds a little wrinkle to this. So your 1 year at Bryan, do you feel like you were there long enough to maybe this game means a little bit more to you, or it's just the next game on the schedule?
Oh, no, it definitely means a lot for sure. I know some of those guys there, so, definitely means a lot to me to win this game.
In Lawrenceburg, where did you play high school?
I played at Loretto High School.
Loretto, okay. All right, that's one thing, getting to that middle Tennessee, West Tennessee's, and there's so many more schools than we have in East Tennessee. You start wondering about it. Obviously, this season, you all kind of went through a transition. Of course, your coach that brought you in, maybe helped recruit you, was Ray Stone. He goes to take an assistant athletic director position, kind of just a huge shakeup in basketball terms on both sides. But you get Randy Casey coming in, who had been at McMinn County High School here, and Coach Ty Runyon for a year, the Bulldog teammate. Talk to us a little bit as a senior, how that transition, how you handled that as a veteran on this team.
Man, mainly just, staying focused on the main goal, trying to be better as a team. Coach has done a lot for us, just helping us, be better every day. So try not to think about the different things that we can't control. So, just focusing on winning, that's about it.
You're listed as one of the players to watch along with you, Peyton West and Ty Hurst in the conference. What do you feel like with your 12.4 points per game? That's got you right behind Ty Hurst, leads the team 14.3. Kind of what is your role you feel like that helps this Bulldog team? And what do you feel most comfortable on the court doing?
Mainly just being that leader, doing all the little things, you know what I'm saying? Really whatever I need to do each day and each night to help us win.
Let's talk about it. I referenced it. You changed jersey numbers, so was there a meaning behind that, or hey, I'll just take whatever number, coach? I just want to play.
Yeah.
What was the story behind that?
No, it's crazy you asked because I've always been number 11, growing up and stuff. So when I got here, one of the guys had already had number 11, so it was kind of just I take whatever. It didn't mean as much. So that guy ended up not coming back. So I kind of wanted the number I always had, but.
Talking about Emmanuel Ndambi, who was here, and he was, I think, 6'11", so he's a big guy to try to say, hey, can I get that jersey from you kind of thing. So,
exactly.
And I think you wore 13, if I'm not mistaken,
yes,
last
sir.
year. So
yes,
I kind of took the curse of the number 13 right head on there.
Yeah.
What has it been about Tennessee Wesleyan that has really maybe surprised you and maybe that you'll take with you after your time at Wesleyan's done that's been important to you?
Mainly just building relationships on and off the court, with teachers and, different athletes and different students. Just being a good person to everybody I can, you know what I'm saying? Just leaving that mark on everyone, knowing who I truly am.
You mentioned it. You've got Ty Runyon that played for Coach Casey. Was there any insights he gave you all maybe about how he was going? He only got to play 1 year for him at McMinn. Was there anything Ty was able to share of y'all of what it was going to look like under Coach Casey?
A little bit, just letting us know, what I'm saying, he was serious about basketball, and just making sure we get better every day. And that's about all, really. Nothing too much.
Let's talk a little bit. We'll get into some of the academic side of it, but this record for the Bulldogs, kind of unheard of territory over the last several decades. 4-9 on the season, but only 1-4 here at home. But you've had a lot of close games. What is it about this team that can you all kind of flip the switch, maybe get the win here tonight and start a run? What has it been that y'all have tried to work on as a team to get this season flipped around?
And it's been a battle, every day just trying to work on getting better. But it's mainly just been like figuring ourselves out and, getting better as a team. I don't feel like necessarily it's just been the opponent, you know what I mean? I feel like we mainly beat ourselves up sometimes, but we're figuring it out each and every day.
There's been several games. I know the Milligan game was a tough, hard-fought game. You had Dalton State in here a few weeks ago, and Coach Casey and I talked after that one online that Dalton State's probably a top 10 team in the NAIA, and they're a tough team, but there's just been several. You've got a couple of big ones coming up, but you're coming off the win against Union. Is there anything from that game that you feel like you can take? Because you were a player that I spotlighted with Coach Casey after that game, or it may have even been the Milligan game, going back and forth between both orange and black teams. But it seems like there of late your defensive presence has created so much offense for the Bulldogs, and it was like the ball was just a magnet. Is there anything you're seeing as a guard on the floor that's helping you?
Not really. I'm mainly just like I'm a very competitive person, so whatever I got to do to, help us win is, that's all I'm focused on. So if it's getting stops, then I'll make sure that happens.
I know compared to some of the other guys on the team, not saying they're not hustling, but your jersey was visually like just soaking wet from sweat, where I think you'd intercepted like 3 or 4 straight passes, it felt like, at midcourt, and it turned into offense. So it's always good to see those presses work and turn into some offense. Let's shift gears a little bit here. Of course, it's a weird time in college athletics, but nonetheless, everyone's still in school to get a degree and working towards academic. You're a student athlete, so talk to us about your major, kind of what classes are like for you.
My major is sports management. I really take pride in my classes because, you got to be a student first before you can be an athlete. So, and I promised my mom I'd get a degree, and be something one day. So that'd be my main focus, you know what I'm saying?
So obviously sports management for a lot of former athletes, they've kind of added that, I'd say, the last 10 years or so. And a lot of athletes go into that. Kind of what are you wanting to do with that degree in the sports management world? Because it really kind of opens you up to several different things. What's your plan?
Yeah, to be honest, man, I don't have anything just specifically, but like you said, there's a lot of different things that comes with it. I might try to go to school a little bit more to get a master's and seek from there and see where it comes from there. So nothing in particular just yet, but a few ideas.
Kind of any thoughts of entering coaching or maybe wanting to work on the administration side?
And as much as I love basketball, I don't know if I could coach, but, you never know, man. But I would probably say administration, but, whatever comes with it, you know what I mean?
There's a lot of guys that, and the ladies have said this too, there's a lot of them that, hey, I want to be a coach, that's what I want to do, but then there's some of them, like yourself, that are, I don't think I could handle it. And I think part of that is maybe due to you mentioned it, you're so competitive. And if you've got your players out there and they're not doing what you want them to do, it gets frustrating, I know. So,
sure.
Is there any special classes or professors at your time at Wesleyan that have made a big impact on you, maybe outside of the coaches or teammates that you look back on and has kind of been a mentor to you that you want to shout out?
Definitely. Dr. Swafford, Dr. Davis, Miss Cindy Davis, they're wonderful. They always help me with anything I need and just showing me how to be better every day with my classes and stuff.
Dr. Swafford's always, Stacy Swafford, one of those that always rises to the top of any athlete. And, of course, she works in the eligibility side of things as well for our student athletes, and is always a great time. So, well, Amari, I appreciate you joining us. Glad we got to talk, and glad you made your way here from Bryan to Tennessee Wesleyan.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Whatever means you had to. Glad to have you here, and it's been a joy to call the games and watch you out there giving it your all. So best of luck tonight. Let's get this win. So,
yes, sir.
Appreciate it, Amari.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Amari Young, Lawrenceburg, Tennessee native, as he talked about, coming from Bryan College originally and then making his way to Athens, Tennessee. So he's been an outstanding young man to watch on the court night in and night out, no matter the result for the Bulldogs in terms of the score. Again, we're at halftime here of the women's game. It's 28-26. It's a tight game back and forth. Bryan has led it by 10 two different times. That came with about 2 minutes left in the first quarter and then about 3:43 left in the second quarter. But Wesleyan got it down to 1 point to go after a missed free throw. Jacelyn Stone missed a free throw at the line, 5 of 6 currently for her to have tied the ball game. But then at the end, Bryan able to go 1 for 2 at the line to get the 2-point advantage once again here. We spent the first 3 minutes of this ball game hoping to get a field goal. It took Bryan roughly 2:45 before they scored. Wesleyan had to rely on free throws about midway through the first quarter, and then still were plagued by missed shot after missed shot coming down the stretch in the first quarter. Looking at your team stats, Tennessee Wesleyan shoots 36.4%. They were down to 18% at one point, so doubling that back up. Bryan now at 38% after they were in the 40s from the field. Bryan 1 of 12 from behind the arc, 8.3. Tennessee Wesleyan has at least had a couple of 3 balls go, 3 of 9 to be exact, 33.3%. Charity stripe at 75% for Bryan, 3 of 4. Wesleyan 7 of 8, 87.5. Wesleyan has turned the ball over 10 times, and Bryan's converted 8 points off of that. Tennessee Wesleyan has converted 9 points off of the 8 turnovers by Bryan. Rebound stats, that goes to the Lady Lions, 16 to 11, 5 offensive, 11 defensive. Tennessee Wesleyan only 1 offensive rebound, 10 defensive. Both teams 5 assists apiece, and Wesleyan 5 of 8 assisted shots there. Bryan 5 of 12 assisted on their shots. Wesleyan with 2 blocks to the 1 for Bryan, 4 steals for Wesleyan, 6 for Bryan. Your leading scorer is Jacelyn Stone. She's got those 15 points, 4 of 5 shooting, 2 of 3 from behind the arc, 5 of 6 from the line, 2 boards. Leading rebounder is Anna Crowder with 4 boards, 2 assists, looking for her first points. But it's only been Courtney Farr with 6 points, 2 of 3 inside and 2 of 2 at the line. And Jalea Lindsay, 5 points and a rebound and an assist for her to lead the Lady Bulldogs. All but one Lady Lion has scored. It is Autumn Davis leading them with 8 points and 2 boards. Leading rebounders include Kynard and Neal. Here we go to start the third quarter. It's going to be Lindsay, Powell, Anna Crowder, Farr, and Stone for Tennessee Wesleyan. For Bryan, it is Stinnett, Crittenden, Davis, Johnson, and Brooks. They're starting 5, and it's Bryan that opens with the ball here, up 28 to 26. In this Appalachian Athletic Conference game, a drive by Stinnett gets her free for a lay-in on the right side. Actually had to sky to shoot it over Farr. Courtney Farr had some great presence on the inside part of this game in the second quarter. And thank you to Amari Young for joining us here at halftime. He'll be playing in the guys' game coming up next. Crowder is going to get called for the charge as she drove in. And just a player control foul called against the senior from Decatur. That's going to be Anna's first foul, team first of the quarter. As Bryan will come back offensively, trying to make it 2 in a row. Johnson sends it left side. Brooks takes a deep 3, and that one is good for Tori Brooks. 7-point lead once again for Bryan, just like that. Back-to-back made field goals. Lindsay, pass deflected, Farr able to collect it. Farr going in and looks like tied up, but no call. It'll be an out-of-bounds block. Stinnett there working against Courtney Farr. Farr catches this one on the left wing, bounces it to Stone on the high post. Stone trying to drive in, missed the layup on the right side, and Stinnett collects the rebound. Up to Davis in transition. Davis inside the arc, drives, layup, no good on the left side. Powell has it poked away by Crittenden, and the Lady Lions will reset. Farr guarding Stinnett. Stinnett lob back door, poked away briefly by Lindsay. And it's going to be Bryan basketball underneath, 12 to shoot. Leading this one 33 to 26. Tennessee Wesleyan did outscore the Lady Lions 19 to 14. They're in the second quarter. Just have not been able to get Bryan stopped yet. Crittenden battles through some tough defense by Anna Crowder. Gets the block, picks up the loose ball. Clear out quickly. Lindsay, right wing 3 is good for Jalea Lindsay. Puts them back to within 4. 2 minutes played so far here in the third quarter. Good defense turning into offense right there for Lady Bulldogs. Out front, Crittenden with it. Sends it near wing. It's going to be Davis. Ball yet to hit the floor. Stinnett with it. Now Brooks. Ball on her hip. She'll put it on the floor to the right. Euro step through. Touch off the glass is good for Tori Brooks. She's got 5 of her own points here early in the third quarter. Out front, Crowder sends it to Powell. Powell had an open 3. She can knock it down, but passes it off to Farr. And Farr's pass intercepted here by Brooks in the paint. Brooks steps into another 3 on the left wing, missed it. Powell tips up the rebound to Stone. Quick outlet up to Lindsay. Lindsay has it poked away there by Brooks, and it's a transition opportunity for Crittenden. Instead, Johnson has it. Brooks now trailing the play with 7 to go in the third. Will send it off. Crittenden left wide open for 3 and airballs it. Ashlyn Crittenden shoots 21% from behind the arc and misses everything there. That's going to allow Nard back into the game. It's going to be Crowder bringing it across the half line. Crowder, quick crossover, goes left side. Farr sets a good screen, looking for help out front. Lindsay going for another triple. This one bounces up and off the glass into the hands of Bryan. 6.5 to go in the third. It's 35-29. If you're just joining us, Bryan's led from the jump. I say the jump, but it took almost 3 minutes for either team to find the basket back in the first. Here's Stennett, little shovel pass across the lane. Bryan has to work it back outside with 10 to shoot. Lindsay guarding Davis, hand on the hip, and that one's going to be an easy call for the officials. Lindsay's going to pick up her second. Team second. Inbound coming underneath. They switched inbounders. Davis was there. Instead, it'll be Johnson. Nard taking it. Gets Lindsay in the air, forces an awkward shot, gets her on the rebound. Now Powell trying to get it. Held ball, the signal. We'll give it to Tennessee Wesleyan. Good job by Wesleyan to force the held ball. Stone collects the inbounds. Her and Crowder in the backcourt. Shadowed there by a couple of Lady Lions. Crowder across midcourt. Hands it off to Powell. Powell sends it left corner. Crowder wanting to lob it down to Farr. Now it's Stone with it back out front. Stone puts it on the floor. Sends it over to Lindsay. Quick move. Steps through the defender. Lay-in touch off the glass is good for Jalea Lindsay. Bulldogs to within 4. 5:38 to play, and it's 35-31. Bryan in front. Brooks drops it back behind her to Stennett for 3, and Stennett answers just as easy. And Bryan with a 7-point lead now will call a timeout and talk it over. We'll take the timeout with them here. It's a 30-second timeout. Wesleyan down 38-31. We'll be back in 30 seconds. WJSQ, WLAR, Athens, Tennessee. Jared Wright bringing you this Tennessee Wesleyan basketball coverage. Thank you to all of our sponsors and Handsome Dan back at the station. The Lady Bulldogs are trying to battle back. It's deflected. Wesleyan can pick it up. It went into the backcourt, and then Davis is going to get called for the foul. And Stone drawing some good contact there. It's the first. As Julia Howard is going to return for Tennessee Wesleyan, giving Courtney Farr a much-needed breather. And great work by Courtney inside there. Anna Crowder will get the drift a little bit closer to the Wesleyan bench to inbound this one. Comes in quickly to Stone. Out front over to Barr, checked in during the timeout. So it's Barr, Lindsay, Anna Crowder, Howard, and Stone out there. 3 of the 5 former Lady Tigers from Meigs County High School. Here's Howard into the paint, running shot, missed it, ball tipped around. And Bryan coming away with it. So Wesleyan had a good look, but just forced shot falls void. Stennett goes left side of the paint. They work it back outside. Top of the key, Kiner, now right side Brooks. Lob down low and then an off-ball screen. Illegal screen. Kenner going to pick up her second, team second. Stone will get a breather as Lexi Bates checks back in for Tennessee Wesleyan. Senior guard. It'll be different for Tennessee Wesleyan next year. Both sets of twins graduating. The Bates and the Crowder twins set to graduate. Of course, with COVID years and all that, everybody potentially could have another one. Also rulings of NCAA level athletes being able to have an extra year if they went to JUCO. So pass deflected back to Bates. Bates trying to work it down to Howard. Behind the back, got free. Kicks it back out front, 5 to shoot. Lindsay takes it into the paint and just loses the handle on it. Wesleyan turnover plagued here early on. Now 13 turnovers. Down low, Davis out front to Stennett. Stennett back to Davis. Davis open for a wide three, and it's good. And it's back to a 10-point game, and Coach Smith has seen enough for Tennessee Wesleyan. This is now the third quarter where Tennessee Wesleyan has been down by 10, and it's a full 60-second timeout. We'll take it with them here on WJSQ. Back in 60. Back here in James L. Robb Gymnasium, Tennessee Wesleyan with the ball out of the timeout. Bates saves it on the far sideline. Back to Crowder from Howard, now to Lindsey. Wesleyan trying to settle down offensively. A missed shot. Rebound collected here. Offensive chance, and Barr converts with the three ball for the Lady Bulldogs. Cuts it back to a 7-point deficit. Each time Wesleyan has seen Bryan hit the 10-point mark, Wesleyan has come back with a three-pointer to drop it back to a 7-point deficit. Bryan Stennett with it out front. Crosses up Howard, going in. A lot of contact, ball tipped around. Bates battling Stennett for it. Now coming away, it's going to be Crowder. Number 1 for the Lady Bulldogs comes out victorious. Here's Lexi Bates with it on the perimeter. Sends it right side. It's going to be Lindsey. Quick touch pass down low to Howard. Nice post move. Got fouled on, let's see if it's going to be a shot attempt. Yep, it will be. Stennett's going to pick up her second, team third of the quarter. Stone back in for Bates. Brooks will exit as Sydney Neal returns for Bryan. And so Julia Howard stepping to the line. Makes the first one. 2:59 showing on the game clock here in the third quarter. Stennett coming back to talk to Coach Ballant. Howard's second one is good. Freshman from Decatur puts them to within 5. Under 3 to go in the third. Davis out front, sends it left side. Stone just barely missing the deflection. It's going to be a 3 by Connor, no good. Barr collects the backside air ball. Gets it to Stone, now to Crowder. Crowder, right wing, back out front to Stone. Stone crosses over, gets left side, open to Lindsey for 3. That one just off the back iron. Out of bounds off of Wesleyan, they say. I think a couple of Lady Bulldogs thought that Bryan had touched that one on the rebound, but nonetheless, it goes out of bounds. Lindsey will exit. McCullough back in for Tennessee Wesleyan. It's going to be Davis to bring it up the court. Davis with 11 points. Lindsey now at double figures, 10 points for the Lady Bulldogs. Of course, trailing Stone at 15. It's going to be Davis up top. Sends it left side. Now it's Johnson stepping behind the arc, drives in. Crowder just takes the ball away from her. She's trying to pass it over her head. Crowder looking for some help, gets it over to Stone. They'll set up the offense. Stone, hesitation dribble, kicks. Barr thought about the 3. She'll drive and dish. Wesleyan works it to the left side of the court. Barr skips the pass over to Crowder for 3. Anna Crowder off the back iron. Long rebound chased down by McCullough. And Red Guerin on the far side says she steps out of bounds, trying to save it, but good effort there by Jordan. Trying to collect that one. Brooks is going to return, replacing Kelsey Johnson. Here comes Davis again. 1:40 to go, 41-36. Bryan in front of Wesleyan. Led from the beginning, wire to wire. Wesleyan trying to get back into it. Stone poked it away momentarily. It rolls perfectly to Davis, though. Davis kicks out. Stennett head fake. Got Howard to jump. Now the layup, no good. Barr collects the defensive board, and Wesleyan avoids the damage there. Stone, quick pass inside, is intercepted by Davis. McCullough trying to cut over and maybe force that one just too quickly. Jumper missed. Stennett's putback, though, is good on the backside, and it's back to a 7-point game, 43-36, with a minute to play in the third. McCullough drops it to Barr, top of the key. Barr calling for Howard to get it. She does at the elbow. Anna Crowder crosses over now to Stone. Stone, head fake, pulls up just outside the lane and off the back iron. Missed jumper here, and it'll be Bryan coming down the court with 36 seconds to play in the third, 20 on the shot clock now. Works it to the left side, backdoor cut, intercepted there by McCullough, just takes it away against Brooks. Now Davis going to get called for the blocking foul as she's going to pick up her second, team fourth, I believe, yep. Powell back into the game for Tennessee Wesleyan's McCullough. Farr coming back for Howard. So Wesleyan, Anna Crowder, Abby Barr, Jacelyn Stone, J.C. Powell, and Courtney Farr out there trying to close out this last 19 seconds of the third quarter with some points. Trailing by 7. Stone, little hesitation dribble, gets to the left block, kicks back out. Crowder open for three. That one is in there. Anna Crowder with the clock winding down, drills it. 4-point game. Davis heaves it from just outside the Bulldog logo, but it's going to fall off. And so at the end of the third quarter, Wesleyan trailing by 4, 43-39. We'll be back for the final 10 minutes right here from James L. Robb in 60 seconds. Back in 60. WJSQ WLAR, Athens, Tennessee. Fourth quarter to go here. 10 minutes to play in this Appalachian Athletic Conference. Doubleheader on the women's side. At least we got 10 more minutes. We got the guys' game coming up next. I invite you to stick around for that one. The men will try to end a 4-game losing streak to the Lions. Lady Bulldogs trying to end the 14-game losing streak to the Lady Lions. Trying to make it 2 wins in a row now on this home floor. It's going to be Brooks for Bryan with it on the right wing. Shot clock running low. Here's a drive by Neal. Gets free on the layup. Bucket is good, and the official furthest from the play calling the foul on J.C. Powell. Just stating the facts for you at home is that one was away from the basket call, and it's 45-39. Bryan in front by 6. 9:33 to go. It's a 3-point play. Back to a 7-point game once again. Stone with it, far side of the floor. Lob down to Lindsay. Lindsay gets fouled hard on the take. Prevented her from getting a shot off, but nonetheless, it'll be a 2-shot foul as Tori Brooks is going to pick up her first, team first of the quarter. Lindsay stepping to the line. 62% shooter coming into tonight's matchup. First one in and out it goes. Wesleyan had only missed 1 free throw before that. We're sitting at a cool 90%. Lindsay does convert the second one. 6-point deficit. Just under a minute gone here in the fourth. Davis to the right side, drops it down to Stennett. Stennett will dribble it out front. Hands it off to Kennard and spin move and score. McKinnard, the sophomore, she's looked impressive here. 8-point deficit. Left wing, it's Lindsay with it. Lindsay, quick crossover, goes to the left side, forces one up under the defender, and it falls short off the rim. Wesleyan starting to look a little bit like the first quarter. Couldn't get any shots falling. Stennett thought about the three, instead passes it up, and Brooks traveled with it. So Wesleyan will get the benefit of the turnover there. It's going to be Stone to collect it, bring it up the court. Out there with Lindsay, Powell, Farr, and Crowder. Powell had an open three, instead passed it. They missed Lindsay back door. She dropped. Now they lob it down to Farr on the low block. Farr stuck. Bounce pass feed on the baseline. I don't know how Bryan was not out of bounds there. The outlet up to Davis, now to Brooks, and that was the easiest points to put it back to a 10-point game once again for Bryan. Tiptoeing the sideline down there was one of the Lady Lions. Couldn't see who it was, but nonetheless, Tennessee Wesleyan down by 10 once again. See if they can do the trend of knocking down a three ball. Stone fires it near corner. In and out that one went. And it'll be Bryan bringing it up the court, far side of the floor. 7:50 to play in a 10-point game, 50-40. Both teams averaging in the 60s as far as points scored. Here's Stennett for three, and that one falls. So the largest lead of the game for Bryan at 13, and that's going to force the Tennessee Wesleyan timeout. With 7:36 to play, trailing by 13, they'll talk it over for 60 seconds. We'll be back in 60. 1:20 to play here again. Wesleyan trailing 53-47. Trying to make quick work here on the offensive end. Stone dribbled at the low block, kicks it out to Crowder. Now Crowder drives, circles it back out top of the key, fires another three off to the left. Wesleyan trying to rush that one. Lindsay trying to deflect the pass, and now Wesleyan is going to send Autumn Davis to the line. That one's going to be the second on Stone. And 5 team fouls, so that will send Autumn Davis, 72% shooter on the season from the charity stripe. Davis, first trip there tonight, makes the first one. So puts it back to a 3-possession game. 54-47, exactly a minute to go. 8-point game. And Coach Jason Smith looks like he's going to get the timeout before Bryan can call it. So with a minute to play, Wesleyan down by 8. We'll take the 30-second timeout with them. We'll be right back. WJSQ, WLAR, Athens, Tennessee. Jared Wright bringing you this action. It's Wesleyan ball with exactly a minute to go, trailing by 8. Stone trying to make quick run into the front court. Gives it to Powell for the three, short on the three-point attempt. Now Wesleyan fouls Davis, and Farr is going to get called for that one, her second. And of course, it's a 2-shot foul. Lindsay had almost stripped the ball away from Davis, but Farr, I think, causing that foul allowed that still to happen. That gets wiped off. So just heard Wesleyan has one 30-second timeout left, and Bryan has 2 full timeouts. 50.3. First free throw and second free throw are good, so that 10-point lead once again for Bryan. Lindsay catches it near midcourt. She'll cross the time stripe, steps into a three-pointer, off to the right, and Powell going to get called for the push-off, going for the rebound. J.C. Powell's third. And that's going to send, I believe, Kennard to the line. 79% shooter on the season. Wesleyan still being paced by Stone, but it's Davis with 15 pacing Bryan. 43.9 remaining. First free throw rattles out. 10-point deficit. Wesleyan going to need some 3 balls to drop to put them back in this one. Second free throw is good, so 11-point lead. Here's Powell. Got back to Stone. Stone takes a 3 from the right wing. Too strong, off to the back iron, and 32 seconds remaining. Wesleyan not looking to foul, trailing by 11. I'm just going to let this one run out. There is about a 5-second differential in game and shot clock, 4 to 5 seconds, so Bryan will have to take a shot. Or just will go with the turnover. We'll see. Here's a drive by Kennard. Layup on the left side is good for her, and it's 60 to 47. 13-point lead is the largest, and then foul called here on Neal, and don't really know why Neal was pressing in the backcourt at that point, but picks up her second and team fourth, and Bryan's going to go to even 9-9 on the season. Tennessee Wesleyan going to drop to 7-7. As Stone does hit the 3 at the end to put it to a 10-point deficit. 0.9 remaining, that'll be it. So Bryan, it was closer than it has been over the course of this 15-game win streak by Bryan, but Lady Bulldogs just went cold at the wrong time and couldn't get some stops as Bryan opened that fourth quarter on a 10-1 run and never looked back. Wesleyan never got it to within closer than the 6 points with 2:46 to go. And that 2 possessions was just not enough to try to make a stop. So again, Wesleyan women falling 60-50 against Bryan here. Let's take a 2.5 minute break, and then we'll be back with some final stats from James Elrod. 2.5 minutes, and we're back. WJSQ, WLAR, Athens, Tennessee, back here in the postgame where the Lady Bulldogs lose this one 60-50 to Bryan. That is 15 in a row. And just when you kind of think that Wesleyan's going to get Bryan's number, it falls off, and Bryan picks up their 3rd win in a row, and Wesleyan drops back into the losing column on the women's side. Now both teams at an even 500 on the overall season. Wesleyan 5-5 in the conference. Now Bryan 7-6. We'll look to make maybe some position changes as Wesleyan was tied for 7th in the conference before tonight's matchup. Bryan was currently sitting in 9th, and of course was the preseason 4th ranking for the Lady Lions. Showed a little bit more of it in that game. Wesleyan just saw the first 2.5 minutes of the 4th quarter go Bryan's way completely, only converting 1 free throw, where Bryan rattled off 10 quick points against the Lady Bulldogs. Nothing really from the outside. It was all inside or free throws that allowed Bryan to push that 10-1 advantage and really get it to that 13-point mark. They returned on that 13-point mark with about 10 seconds remaining, and then Stone hits a three-pointer at the end to put it at that final 10-point deficit that they lose to Bryan. Of course, Wesleyan got into some foul trouble there late, but anytime you get into a game where you got to pressure the ball a little bit more, you're going to hit some foul trouble and send the opponents to the line, especially with the 5-team foul bonus. But again, final score, Tennessee Wesleyan 50 to Bryan 60. Let's look at some stats for you here. Team stats for Tennessee Wesleyan. The 16 of 46 shooting 34.8%. Just a few percentages under their season average. Then they were 8 of 24 from behind the arc, 33%. 10 of 12 from the charity stripe, 83.3%. Bryan on the other side from the field, 40%, 23 of 57. 5 of 23 behind the arc, 21.7. And from the charity stripe, they were 9 of 11, 81.8%. Wesleyan turned it over 16 times, and Bryan turned it over 14 times. Wesleyan gets 15 points off of the 14 turnovers. Bryan 15 points off of 16 turnovers. Total rebounding stat, Wesleyan loses that one big time, 34 to 20. 11 offensive, 23 defensive for the Lady Lions. 3 offensive, 17 defensive for Tennessee Wesleyan. Assist 10 to 9 in favor of Bryan. Blocks 2 to 1 in favor of Tennessee Wesleyan. And steals 11 to 7 in favor of Bryan. Both teams with 15 team fouls throughout the game. Leading scorer for both teams would be Jacelyn Stone with 20 points. She was 5 of 6 from the stripe, 3 of 5 from behind the arc, 6 of 12 from the floor, along with 3 boards and 1 assist. Jalea Lindsay also with 13 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. Anna Crowder 6 points, along with Courtney Farr 6 points. Anna Crowder also having 7 rebounds to lead the team in that category. On the other side, Bryan had Autumn Davis with 15 points, 4 boards, 14 points by Leah Stinnett, and 8 points, 8 rebounds by Kynard for their leading stats on that. But we're joined by Coach Jason Smith. And Coach, I know we talked just on the digital broadcast the other night after the Union game. Team looked really good after that win. Bryan coming in tonight, shots just weren't falling for y'all. Had a lot of good looks, just could not buy a basket for the first 4 or 5 minutes in this game, it felt like.
Yeah, this team kind of struggled. We've struggled all year at times for just going in funks where we can't score. And, you know, you just can't do that in college basketball. There's too many good teams, especially in our league. And, you know, we got down 12 to 2. And that's the basketball game. We lost by 10. So
yeah.
you're looking, we lost the game in a matter of about 5 minutes in the first quarter. And games are won or lost in 2 or 3 minute spans. And I've always told them it could happen in the first quarter, second quarter, third or fourth, and it just happened to happen in the first quarter tonight. And this team's just, we got to find a way to consistently string buckets together, which we haven't. You know, we'll come down and hit a big shot, cut the lead down to 4, and then get a turnover, come down and miss a bucket. Yeah. And then they go down and hit a 3 or something. And so stringing buckets together has been an issue with our team all year. We just, you know, we're going to get back at it and work at it and try to figure out how to fix it, but it's been a challenge.
I noticed you went with Courtney Farr early on in this ball game and that presence inside, and her and Jacelyn Stone were kind of your only offensive points there early in that first quarter. She played really physical inside, but talk a little bit about, it was just a struggle to even score inside, it felt like, to get to the rim against this Bryan team.
Yeah, Bryan does a good job of really collapsing in and clogging up the paint, and they do a good job to help side and rotating, and then, you know, Coach Blunt's doing a great job getting them to defend well. And so, you know, we put in some stuff I thought was going to help us, you know, attack those. And honestly, I thought we had some good looks at times off our things we put in and wrinkles, and we didn't make the shot, or, you know, or we missed the read a few times where we just didn't see the girl that was open. So, yeah, it was a tough night offensively.
Tough night all around. There was one highlight that kept showing up every time Bryan got it to a 10-point lead. Y'all come down and hit a 3 until that last quarter when they got it to a 10-point lead, and the 3-pointer bounces out for you. But it was kind of a real trend that when Bryan got to their largest lead, you'd kind of start to clip away. Got it to within 1 there at the end of the first half, but then a late foul got them free throws to take the 2-point lead into the locker room. But nonetheless, you got to put it behind you, focus on a tough game on the road against Pikeville on Saturday. Kind of what do you got to look for to make a long road trip up there?
Oh, my gosh.
Sorry to remind you about that.
No, yeah, thanks. You know, I've always told my teams you got till midnight to celebrate a win, or you got till midnight to mourn a loss. And I'm still in mourning, I guess.
Okay, there we go.
I got till midnight to think about that. But, you know, as a coach, you're always thinking about the next game. But I'm going to probably ponder on this one a little bit longer. I gave the girls the day off tomorrow just because we got so many back-to-back games coming up. And I think mentally it took a lot out of them tonight. So we'll give them a rest and we'll get back Friday and, you know, get back in the laboratory, as the coaches say, and try to and dissect U-Pike a little bit.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you. I know it's always tough after a loss to talk to the media, but we appreciate the effort, and thank you for joining us once again.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
Just some struggles there that they have had offensively of trying to get it going here, and stringing together baskets is something they've got to try to work on, and we'll see if they can correct that after a day off tomorrow and then hit the road to U-Pike on Saturday. So that'll wrap up our women's broadcast. Again, Wesleyan falling 60-50 against Bryan here in the women's tilt. We got the guys warming up, but we're going to take a break and send it back to Handsome Dan for roughly about, we'll say about 17 so odd minutes. So plenty of time to spin some records and get some news updates for you all out there. So back to you, Handsome Dan.